You know what the end of the film that I just showed you is? Govinda just has a happily ever after with both Karishma Kapoor and Tabu, pretending to have lost his memory on when he married the both of them. It's true. Imli, the TV show, has led me to a rabbit hole of movies that celebrate bigamy as the man keeps on tossing from one woman to the other. So here we are with the MATLAB KUCH episode for September. For anyone new, the channel every month focuses on movie sequences from different film industries that have either raised interesting questions or have just been straight up illogical or problematic from a social context. You guys provided me some insane suggestions on my Instagram at JammyPants4. You can follow me there for daily updates on the channel. But my god, was it interesting to go through all the suggestions provided by you. I just wanted to address one thing before I start the video, and the consistent criticism I get on the MATLAB KUCH series is that certain sequences are representative of a time period and should not be looked at from the lens of what is considered acceptable today. But the motive of the series also is to provide context of what was considered to be the norm in a particular era, to even have a slight idea if there was ever any progression from what that time period was. So without further ado, here is Tried&Refused Productions with 5 shocking Indian movie scenes that will leave you speechless. Velu and Sachayan. I have vividly spoken about Vijay's film Sivakasi and its problematic social themes as a sequence showcases the hero publicly shaming a woman for what she is wearing in public, while the supporting characters cheer him on for assassinating her character and intention of wearing supposedly skimpy clothes. The film further went on to use force in order to get consent of the girl in a romantic union. Vijay is one of the biggest stars in the Tamil film industry, and with me just mentioning a criticism of just some of his film's social themes will make me subject to the rage of his loyal fan base. But what's important to do while we revere such stars for their compelling work is also to justifiably critique when it goes out of hand from a social context. Most of Vijay's films have a U certificate from the censor board, and usually the problem that exists in his films, especially the ones from the early to mid 2000s, is the courting process, how he approaches the girl, which is always masked with hints of stalking or there being an absence of consent. His 2009 film Velu is considered to be one of his worst films. It is a prime example of what is deeply disturbing. He snoops on Nayanthara as she has a bath with her friends in an open water body, only to pretend to act unconscious as if he has drowned, so that the girl feels compelled to revive him with mouth to mouth, only to get his kiss and ask for more. Shocked that he was pretending, Nayanthara shouts at him, disgusted by his act, only for the background score to kick in as the hero just smiles incessantly, intended to be heroic in some form, but only masking what is basically harassment at this point. The movie further just finds comedic sequences for the hero to get physically close to the girl, even if it means electrocuting her to constantly kiss the man. If you see his 2005 film Sachayan as well, he keeps on stalking Janelia D'Souza, and upon the girl conveying to him that she is uncomfortable of the constant staring, this is the justification that he gives on following her.
நான் பாட்டுக்கு ஓரமா நின்னு உன்னை ரசிச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். அதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணும் சொல்ல முடியாது. இதெல்லாம் உனக்கு பிடிக்கலன்னு வையேன். ஒரு பர்தா போட்டுக்க. யாரும் உன்னை பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க.
Furthermore, following the similar tropes of snooping around and looking at her, peeping through windows as she is getting dressed, for what is considered to be romantic. The aura of the star aside, themes like this should be criticized. What do Tamil film fans think of this? I would really like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Dil Diyaa hai. In the early to mid 2000s, Imran Hashmi was a cult-like figure. It was not necessarily because of his movies, but the musical albums associated with those rather underwhelming projects. One of his most problematic films has to be the 2006 film Dil Diyaa Hai, which has Geeta Basra and Ashmit Patel opposite him. The man is a travel agent who cuts corners and is taking a family around the UK, only for eventually their daughter to be stranded with Imran. Oh, by the way, Imran's mother is on her deathbed and he is desperate for funds to get her treatment done. The man is stranded with a girl who has to reunite with her family. So what does he deem fit in this uncomfortable predicament, knowing very well that she has fallen for him? Oh, I know. Sell her as a prostitute to the man that manages all the illegal drug and human trafficking that exists in London. She gets physically harassed, taken advantage of, and is tormented while she is with Ashmit Patel, as Imran gets his mother's treatment done. Of course, ab to bande ki conscience will kick in, so he goes to rescue the girl that he himself sold off. And of course, Bollywood love story hai, so the progression of love goes something like this.
अपने डैड से बात करो। क्या कहूं उन्हें? ये कहूं कि साहिल ने मुझे बेच दिया था? ये नहीं कहूँ कि उनकी बेटी की रात पर नंगी सीढ़ीज बन रही थी। I love you.
No!
Imagine getting married and spending the rest of your life with a person who sold you as a prostitute when things got a bit out of hand. Red flags galore, no? Padikadavan. Dhanush and his history of films that have had themes of stalking and harassment has been talked about quite a lot in mainstream media. While most people are aware about Ranjana due to its language, his older filmography in Tamil films have had similar themes. Can I just say a controversial opinion though? We don't think twice before criticizing Dhanush for the same, but often label Madhavan's popular films as romance, even though in classic films he has themes of stalking as well. Is it just because the actor has a more lovable personality? Let me know if you think there is a hypocrisy that exists with the same. In Dhanush's 2010 film Padikavan, the theme and comedic pitch of the film is already set before the stalking begins. While his arranged marriage is being set up, the film carries on for long durations, showcasing an obese and socially inept girl as the butt of the joke. Disgusted that this might be his future, he looks at Tamanna and falls in love at first glance. Of course he does. This carries on for the hero to constantly stalk the girl and tell her that no one will love her like him. Bordering on being absolutely invasive in every way, Tamanna tries to scold him and tell him to back off, only to be told this lecture in order to defend what he is doing.
कुत्ते की तरफ पीछा करना छोड़ दो, मैं तुमसे नफरत करती हूँ।
ठीक है, सच्चे दिल से मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूँ तो वो बात तुम्हें हजम नहीं हो रही है, पर कल कोई बिगड़ैल रईस ज़्यादा तुम्हें झूठ मूठ की चकाचौंध दिखाकर अपने प्यार के जाल में फंसाकर प्रेग्नेंट कर देगा और फिर तुम्हें उसी हालत में छोड़कर बाय कहकर चला जाएगा। तब तुम जैसी लड़कियां कुत्ते की तरह उनका पीछा करती हैं। अगर तुम्हारे हाथ की रेखाएं किसी से जुड़ी है तो वो मैं हूँ।
This of course translates into love later, but I wonder about the perception set in real life, because trust me, this does not fly as charming in any way. Dostana. One of the main reasons why I wanted to present this classic film in the MATLAB KUCH episode was to reflect upon a time where this was considered to be the norm. Zeenat Aman files a case in the police station for a loafer harassing her. Seeing the way that she is dressed, rather than addressing the problem, who is the man whistling at the girl, the police officer gives her a lecture of the way she is dressed.
कुछ फर्ज लड़कियों का भी है।
क्या फर्ज है? मैं समझी नहीं।
जरा देखिए अपने आप को। इस तरह के कपड़े पहनकर अगर आप बाहर सड़क पे निकलेंगे तो गुंडों की सीटियां नहीं बजेंगी तो क्या मंदिर की घंटियां बजेंगी?
मैं क्या पहनती हूँ ये मेरा पर्सनल मामला है।
हर वो काम जिससे दूसरे को परेशानी हो पर्सनल नहीं हो सकता।
This back and forth is precisely the problem that women face even today, which is an act of violence, and harassment is often equated to the way the girl is dressed rather than criticizing the male gaze that is harassing the opposite sex. This further is enunciated with a song titled बहुत खूबसूरत जवान, which literally had the lyrics, फकत नाम को उसने पहने थे कपड़े, अजंता की मूरत नजर आ रही थी, कोई मचला उससे टकरा गया, मेरे दोस्तों तुम करो फैसला, खता किसकी है किसको दे हम सजा. Basically, a song solely meant for asking people, you only tell me who's at fault. A woman dressed provocatively or a man who can't help himself but be attracted. हम तुम्हारे हैं सनम. Whenever people talk about Salman and Shah Rukh together in a film, they often reference either Karan Arjun or Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. But people often forget probably their weirdest film, which has led to a lot of debate in my DMs yesterday, the 2002 film Hum Tumhare Hain Sanam. In a nutshell, it's about a marriage, a husband who wants to be intimate with his wife constantly, but she keeps on speaking to her childhood friend, the history of which the husband is clueless about. This results in a lot of problems and the Khans hilariously calling one another Chichora. Before I start roasting all the characters, it's important to note two things. That one, this film can be titled Miscommunication or Kebab Mein Haddi, and two, that the film splits audiences. One having an opinion that it is simply about an obsessive and insecure husband that borders on toxicity, and two, that he somewhat had a point. I have to say that all the three characters are idiotic and slightly problematic. Shah Rukh Khan plays a character who is insecure and narrow-minded. There's no debate about it. He tells every woman to cover up and questions what they are wearing. He questions his wife on their wedding night on who she loves the most. He's sexist and dismisses Madhuri sometimes by saying dialogues like "मर्द बात कर रहे हैं ना," and tells off a girl by saying that मर्द भगवान से भी ऊपर होता है एक बीवी के लिए and all that. He borderline has anger issues as he slaps his sister without thinking twice and tells off strangers also if he thinks that they are having an affair. So the dude has issues. But both Madhuri and Salman's characters also well, to be kind, are just plain dumb. Every time Shah Rukh and Madhuri are getting intimate, she deems it fit to sit for long hours on the phone with Salman, talking about diarrhea, of course, to the annoyance of the husband. She sneaks at night to speak to the same man. She wishes for him to even join them on their honeymoon to Switzerland. So she does lack social cues. Salman, on the other hand, has no sense of boundaries. He constantly calls Madhuri, complains about not having a suitable girlfriend, and creates a constant atmosphere of doubt regarding his intentions. It's only in the end, conveniently, that Salman communicates they are like siblings, and abruptly in comes a blind Aishwarya Rai who has been his girlfriend all along. This film is 2 hours and 47 minutes long of pure miscommunication, the solution of which was just one thing: if a husband and wife just had a conversation with one another. Where do you guys stand about this film? It's such a weird film that the discussion around its characters is quite entertaining. When insecurity manifests into madness, you'll start mouthing dialogues like this.
कभी तुमने ये जानने की कोशिश की है कि मुझे क्या अच्छा लगता है? मुझे चाय पसंद है, मुझे कॉफी पसंद है, लेकिन तुम्हें ये मालूम है कि उसे हॉर्लिक्स अच्छा लगता है.
And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.